Welcome to Taste of Life, an interactive travel series for the gourmet in us all. Today's Epicurean Odyssey takes us to the edge of the New World, Newfoundland. Newfoundland is like no place you've ever been to before. Geographically remote, and yet the people there have a friendliness and character that makes them fabled throughout Canada. Come with Taste of Life as we trek across what Newfoundlanders call the Rock. We experience the natural wonders of the sea and the land, and the warmth of the color and hospitality of an island with a fascinating history, as told to us by Tourism's Jillian Marks. The icy waters around Newfoundland yield a delicious harvest for seafood lovers. We learn about the unique ice shrimp from Fisheries Products International's Chris Curran. And then, we taste some of Newfoundland's finest cuisine, created by Executive Chef William McElroy at the Hotel Newfoundland. There, Hotel Director Steve White explains how Newfoundland's premier hotel is a vital part of the culture and lifestyle of the capital city. All this and more when Taste of Life returns.
Hi, I'm Catherine Blythe for Taste of Life, and welcome to The Rock. The island of Newfoundland is a mass of contradictions, beginning with its name. It's not a newfound land at all, at least not since the Vikings made the first European settlement in North America here 1,000 years ago. It's an island where rugged and wild describe the place and the people, and both are equally welcoming. Vikings landed on Newfoundland 1,000 years ago, but few traces of their experiment linger on the landscape that is virtually prehistoric. The rocky coastline collides with the vast North Atlantic Ocean with a turbulent beauty that leaves visitors breathless.
We want people to go away wanting to come back. There are so many wonderful things you can do here. I mean, this is the place where icebergs drift south and humpback whales migrate north and their paths cross here, and you can't see that anywhere else. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And we have people who have virtually done just about everything else. They're looking for something different. They're looking to get back to nature. They're looking to experience a culture. They're educated. They are between 35 and 55 years old, and they just want something different. They're not looking for sun and sand. This is Newfoundland, not Disneyland.
The unique experience that is Newfoundland begins in the trip here. The massive island is separated from mainland Canada by miles of often choppy seas, navigated day and night by the ferries of Marine Atlantic. The trip to the far side of the island can take over 12 hours. The near side can be reached in half that, but the expedition has been made a lot easier by the introduction of a high-speed passenger ferry from Denmark.
European style ferry. It's fully air conditioned. It's got different seats and different passenger areas, big windows so that people in the saloons can, no matter where they sit, they can always see the ocean going by pretty fast. Normally at a speed of about 42 knots.
The capital city of St. John's is on the far side of Newfoundland, so anyone taking the short ferry ride has a long and dramatic drive ahead of them. The majestic scenery along the island's highway is well worth the trip and gives you the opportunity to meet some of the locals. They say there are more moose on Newfoundland than people. St. John's is literally at the end of the road. The last city on the Trans-Canada Highway lies on the eastern shores of Newfoundland. It's a city where houses still cling to the sides of cliffs, and visitors can walk on the oldest street on the continent. St. John's isn't just a city with historical character. Pivotal events have unfolded here that changed lives. The military presence was vital here, from the Napoleonic Wars through to the Second World War. It was all due to Newfoundland's strategic location as the closest landmass to Europe in the North Atlantic. And even in times of peace, that military presence remains a fundamental part of the character of the area. Dramatic Signal Hill crowns the landscape, site of many historical events, including the reception of the first transatlantic wireless message. Nearby, Cape Spear juts out into the North Atlantic, the most eastern point in North America. It's where the sun rises first on the continent, and you're closer here to Ireland than to central Canada.
The Irish connection is very rich, and there's a soul connection right across the pond here. You have a very traditional type of people, friendly and warm, and we live in small communities, so we tend to take care of each other. We tend to know a lot about each other, and we know when you're not from here, so we're pretty friendly. We'll ask.
Newfoundlanders share their Irish cousins' traditions of an oral and musical history, with a joke on the tip of the tongue and a song on the lips. That joy and unrivaled warmth of character has sustained the people of Newfoundland through generations of challenges in this sometimes harsh and unforgiving land. Newfoundland was an accident of discovery, but a happy one. Explorer John Cabot claimed Newfoundland for England in 1497. He was looking for gold, but found cod. That's what lured English and Irish settlers here. After Cabot reported the seas were so rich in cod, they slowed his ships down. That's no longer true today, but Newfoundlanders are still very much a seafaring people, living near the sea and working on it too. The communities of Newfoundland are all located on the island's shores, and they center around their fishing fleets. With a culture still so firmly tied to the fisheries, it's no surprise that cod is the food of the people. And you've never had fish and chips till you've had them in Newfoundland. And that is just the beginning.
If you're having trout, you're having trout. If you're having halibut or sole, you always name it. But any Newfoundlander, fish to them is cod. Because that's what we grew up with. If you went fishing, you went out in boat, out in salt water, and you caught some fish. If you were going up to a pond to get some trout, you were going trouting. So it's always, fish is just cod. That's just the way it is.
Some of the restaurants in Newfoundland that are now known as fish and chip shops were begun by people who fished for cod before dawn and had the fish on the table that day.
I came down yesterday from Toronto, and I tell you something, the last time I've had a fish and chips this good was a year ago when I was at the same place. I sat right over there where this lady is. But this is truly outstanding.
But have you heard of some of the local cod favorites?
Fish and brews. One is a salt fish, and brews is a hard bread. And you take that and you soak it overnight, and you put your fish and your hardtack in water the next day, and you boil it. So your fish is salty, so as the salt goes through it. And you fry up pieces of fat and you make them right hard, and they're called scruncheons. And so when you got all this fish and the brews is like soggy bread, some people think, and you put it there and then you put all this fat and scruncheons on top of it, and it's really, really good.
And that's not all. Nothing on the cod goes to waste.
Cod tongues, I used to cut them out when Dad would have the fish when he was young. You'd cut out the tongues and you fry them up. They got like, it's meaty and then it's a little bit, it's just like jelly, that's the tongue part. Nothing was left uneaten.
When Taste of Life returns, a modern, thriving ice shrimp industry, and later, shrimp cakes at the Hotel Newfoundland. Stay with us. The frigid waters that give birth every spring and summer to icebergs also yield a sweet delicacy, ice shrimp. Fishery Products International has located plants so they can process fresh shrimp catches daily.
Well, Fishery Products International is actually a major player in both major aspects of the shrimp industry. There's the warm water industry out of the Asian countries and Central and South American countries. But predominantly these days, our business is based in the cold water shrimp fishery, or as we market it, ice shrimp. Our ice shrimp, or cold water shrimp, is a smaller shrimp. It's a very, very sweet, probably described best as sweet, delicate, very nice texture for eating. It's used in salads, sandwiches, pizzas, quiches, those sorts of things. And basically it makes a wonderful ingredient in things where you're looking for that sweet, delicate texture of shrimp, as opposed to something you would dip in a sauce. When the shrimp first arrives from sea, it's placed in a vat of ice just to preserve the quality. Then it's moved into the processing area. Once it goes into processing, the first step is to wash the shrimp. Then it goes through a process of grading to separate into small, medium, and large sizes so we can process similar counts of shrimp. We measure our shrimp count per pound.
This single plant outside St. John's processes up to 5 million pounds of ice shrimp every year, feeding a world hungry for this northern delicacy. Cleaned and sized shrimp are quick cooked to seal in the flavor and then, amazingly, machine peeled.
One of the unique things about the cold water shrimp industry is the product is always, when it's processed on shore, a peeled shrimp as opposed to a raw or a shell-on shrimp.
Peeled cooked shrimp pass under a laser on a high-speed conveyor belt, a state-of-the-art quality control that spots any imperfections. The results, a consistently sweet, tender ice shrimp.
So cooking and peeling is basically one step. After cooking and peeling, we go through a freezing process and then a regrading process to get it into market sizes. From there, we can package it for markets around the world. We sell shrimp to the retail industry in the United States, to the retail and food service industries in Canada. We have product today being packed for retail in Switzerland. Shrimp is still a treat. No matter how it's presented, no matter what form it's eaten, people really feel like they've treated themselves when they eat shrimp. Shrimp, be it as a component or as by itself, is just a wonderful feeling for people. And everybody who eats shrimp will walk away feeling that they were really well rewarded with the experience.
Up next, treating ourselves to ice shrimp cakes at the Hotel Newfoundland. Join us. Our fine dining choice today is the Cabot Club at the Hotel Newfoundland with executive chef William McElroy. The Hotel Newfoundland is an historic St. John's landmark in more ways than one. An old world-style hotel was built in the 20s on the remains of Fort William. It was then replaced in the 1980s by the current hotel with its distinctive porthole windows. The Hotel Newfoundland harbors all the delights of Newfoundland hospitality. Its thoroughly modern facilities continue to be a focal point for celebrations in the community, and the Hotel Newfoundland is the luxurious host of many visiting dignitaries.
The Hotel Newfoundland is a part of the heritage of St. John's, and people know that there's even an old phrase that when somebody came in at the airport and got in one of the taxi cabs and said, "Take me to the hotel," everybody knew, the cab driver would know what hotel to pull up to. It's just been around so long, it's stood the test of time. It's a part of our heritage, it's a part of the culture, and part of the entertainment and place to be in St. John's is the Hotel Newfoundland.
Newfoundland's premier fine dining destination is the celebrated Cabot Club, whose picture windows perfectly frame one of the best views in the city of St. John's Harbour and Narrows. The kitchens of the Cabot Club serve some of Newfoundland's finest cuisine, marrying local rustic ingredients with culinary artistry.
It's a very elegant atmosphere. We try not to be too formal, too stuffy. Ingredients on the food is always fresh. We're going, on a daily basis where we have permanent contact with our fish suppliers. We're trying to generate the ultimate dining experience with a little bit of a light cuisine, not too light, mind you, because people do like their staples here, and the very delicate, fine presented plates in the Cabot Club.
Our Taste of Life Cabot Club specialty dish is Newfoundland Ice Shrimp Cakes with aioli. For a free copy of this exclusive recipe, visit our website or call us toll-free.
We're going to be sautéing off some shallots. Well, we're going to be sweating, actually. We're not even sautéing, we're sweating. Some finely diced shallots, finely diced fennel, finely diced garlic, red peppers, all freshly diced in virgin olive oil. Okay, we're going to be sautéing very quickly, sweating these off just till they get a little bit translucent. We're using for this recipe 150, 250 count Newfoundland ice shrimp. These shrimp are always available, I believe, off the coast of Labrador. That's all we need for now. For this, what we're doing, what we're basically using is approximately 2/3 shrimp to 1/3 potatoes. So there's the diced shrimp. That just goes in the mixture and goes in approximately 1/3 of diced cooked potatoes. So what we're going to do is we're going to mix that all together. Okay. The secret ingredient, what I try to do for the hotel and for all our plates that we use, what I try to do is use a lot of Newfoundland ingredients. This is our Newfoundland dried savory. It is available all over Canada, but it is the best here in Newfoundland because it is grown locally and locally produced. A little bit of a touch would be a tiny little bit of Dijon mustard that goes into the mixture. Okay. Now, to bind it, what we're going to be using is some whole eggs. Some whole eggs I have already cracked over here. And what I'll be doing is I'll be taking a couple of the yolks out with some of the egg whites, okay? And some lightly toasted breadcrumbs. And this, what will happen is this will all bind together in a nice mixture.
Okay, aioli. Egg yolks, 3. Now to get the aioli nice and thick, you got to whip the egg yolks really, really well. So you could be, just watching me here for like 2 or 3 minutes, just whipping egg yolks like crazy.
Don't mind me there. You just keep doing what you're doing.
Yes, sir. See, we're 2 of the biggest cooks in Newfoundland, so you can definitely trust that whatever we make
What are you talking about?
is good to eat.
What are you saying? I'm the biggest cook in Newfoundland. Is that what you're saying?
No, we're 2 of the biggest.
Ah, we're 2 of them. Okay.
This is olive oil. This just starts to thicken up the mixture. See if they're now starting to become fairly thick. The longer you whip your egg yolks, the thicker it will become. You don't want it too solid. Okay, now we can put in a little bit of our Dijon mustard. Very strong, so you don't need a whole lot of that. And of course, a very flavorful chopped garlic.
Now that's just raw chopped garlic, okay? A lot of people use roasted garlic for this, but we find that at the beginning, if you leave it overnight in your refrigerator, the raw chopped garlic, it blends the flavors really nicely in the aioli, and it has a lot more flavor than the roasted. But both are acceptable.
Our savory. This is a very strong flavor, very pungent.
So what we're doing, what I'm doing here is we're just frying the shrimp cakes in whole butter. Okay. Now what this does, you don't want to use too hot of a flame, or it will burn the bottom because of the milk content. So what you want to do is put it on a nice low flame, and it'll get nice and brown, the shrimp cakes, okay? And as soon as Paul's done there, what we'll do is we'll put the plate together. These are shrimp, okay? What we will do is just put them in a nice way on the plate. Okay, and what we will do is spoon a little bit of our aioli sauce right on top of the cakes. Okay, so this is just just dribble some of our basil oil all over the pan, all over the plate. Okay, and that's basically our dish for today.
A trip to Newfoundland is a celebration of the spirit and character in us all. It's for those who want their taste of life colorful and on the very edge of the new world. I'm Catherine Blythe for Taste of Life. See you next time.
Catherine Blythe's Wardrobe by Sunny Choi. The Lincoln Navigator is the official vehicle of Taste of Life. We were guests of the Hotel Newfoundland. Visit us at tasteoflife.com or call us toll-free at 1-888-41-TASTE.